welcome to 1923 Main Street.
Home of the Daddy, Daughter, Disney Travel Podcast. We are your hosts.
I am Mike Bello-Braddock.
And I'm Amelia Bello-Braddock. And today, we'll be talking about guest perks and other perks that are changing at Disney Resorts.
And not only changing, some of them are actually going away.
For good.
For good. Or are they? I don't know. Let's talk about what we know. And I'm going to start by saying we don't usually do topical podcasts if you listen to us, but we felt that this was an interesting one because there is a lot going on these days, not only at the Walt Disney Company, but really everywhere, right? Over the past year, companies are having to rethink how they do things, and Disney's no exception. So they've made a few announcements recently. And some Disney fans, shocker, are upset.
No, really?
Yeah, yes, if you can believe that. Disney people getting upset with change.
Wow.
Now, I usually don't get upset with change.
I'm a little bit more controversial.
Yeah. What was that?
I'm a little bit more controversial.
Oh, you are a little bit more controversial. You mean you get upset with change,
Yes,
Disney change?
I do.
Some things I don't like changing if I feel they are affecting the historical sense of Walt Disney's energy and feeling. Yeah, his dream behind Disney. Those are the things where I go, let's not stray too far from his dream. For example, this isn't one I was going to talk about today, but when they have changed the ending to Snow White's Scary Adventure, and it's not scary anymore in Disneyland on the ride, I don't like that. I don't like the fact that they're sort of sanitizing for really no apparent reason Disney.
For children, no one wants to see a scary ending.
It's not that scary, and it's the story. So you know what? Come up with some other attraction.
What's the scary ending?
Well, the witch was in the ending. Now they made it, to me, we're going off track right away in the first 5 minutes, but let's talk about it because it is a change. They have, to me, it looks like, in the mine train at Walt Disney World, when you go through the Seven Dwarfs Mine.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. So I don't, that's great in that attraction, but I don't want them changing a classic dark ride so much so that they've lost part of its classic. Anyway, those are the things that I tend to not like more because I feel, come on, you're changing some historic, authentic Disney storytelling. But there are 3 we're going to talk about today that don't fall into those categories that have got many people upset. And let's talk about them. Let's see what we think, what we know. And
right.
I'm curious to see what you feel about some of these. Let's talk about the first one.
Magical Express.
Disney's Magical Express at Walt Disney World.
Gone after 2021.
Yes, this is the final year it will run. Disney's Magical Express is the free bus transport from Orlando Airport to your hotel and to and from your hotel. You take it to and from back. Now, I am going to start by saying what? Do you know what I'm going to say?
That we don't like the Magical Express?
We've never been on the Magical Express. So, believe it or not, 100 vacations, week-long vacations, and I've never taken Disney's Magical Express.
And don't intend to start now.
And why is that?
Because it's a bad idea, and it's crowded, and...
Well, why would I not like it?
Because Grand Floridian's last.
And I don't like buses. You know what? I don't like any crowded transportation. Let's just put it that way.
Except for monorails.
Except for monorails because they're swift, generally. But the Magical Express, I would much rather travel in style. So we tend to, if we rent a car, obviously we'll have the car, or we take a limo service. And it's really not that expensive as far as I'm concerned. We're spending quite a bit on a vacation, so another $150 to have personal ride to and from the resort hotel and with a stop at Publix to pick up some groceries or other snacks or whatever you want to get, to me, is well worth it. So, however, having said that, I get why people like the Magical Express, and some of our family members take it, and, that's great. But they're retiring it, and there's an obvious reason, if you follow Disney stuff, why they're retiring it.
Well, I mean...
They're launching a train service.
Oh.
So the train, there's an express train route. Yeah, did you not know that?
How is that going to work?
Well, it's going to go from the airport to Disney Springs, supposedly.
I'm intrigued.
It's a longer route, but think of our commuter trains, maybe like Via here where we live, and everybody has their own sort of commuter trains. So there's going to be a stop somewhere around Disney Springs. So that makes sense why they would want to retire this service. It's going to become sort of redundant. However, the train's not free. But I know our friends at Disneyland will say, hey, we haven't had a free bus transportation ever. So, Disney's Magical Express, there is no such thing in Disneyland. And that's the first thing that, when Walt Disney World travelers go to Disneyland, they're going, what? There's no Magical Express.
How can I get to my hotel?
Yeah, there are bus-type shuttles, but they're paid. So I don't know if there will be some private company starting paid shuttles or what, but you won't have a free ride to the resort hotel anymore. And you'll have to pay that train. It's probably not going to be that expensive. It's not going to go right.
There's always Uber.
Yeah, well, this is what Disney said in their release. People have so many options now. Like there's car rentals and limos like we've always taken, but there's now Uber and Lyft and other services like that. Now there's going to be the train. So Disney's Magical Express will no longer be running. Personally, I don't care.
Yeah.
We've never taken it.
It's not a big deal for us.
It's not a big deal for us, but I get how it is for some people. But
well,
I also
there will be less lines at the airport.
Yes, there will. And I also get why Disney's doing it. And a lot of people on all these are going to say, oh, this and that, Disney, I'm never going again, and all of that malarkey, as I would put it, because they will still go, and Disney knows you will still go. And I'm going to talk about that more because this happened a couple of years ago with something else. So, Magical Express, do you care?
No, I don't care.
No, I don't care. I don't belittle. I know some people do care, and I get it.
If you take it, then that's a problem for you. But if you've never taken it,
I'm not down on the Magical Express. It's sort of like, well, no, it's actually not like the Skyliner because I don't like the Skyliner. I think it ruins the sight lines. It shows behind the scenes places that should not be seen. I think it's just going to be proven to be a big mistake in the future. So I don't like the Skyliner. But I don't feel that way about the Magical Express. And I feel, for people who love it, that it's going away. But I also get why they're doing it and with the train and all that sort of stuff. Now, so that isn't the first thing that they announced recently. What was the other one that I think you might care about a little bit?
Yeah, this one, I'm a little bit, They are getting rid of extra magic hours.
Yes, they are. They've announced the end of extra magic hours.
What is this, Disney?
Yeah, this is an interesting one.
What are you doing?
Most of these decisions are going to be about money, right? As they always are. So maybe and these things are happening during this COVID year when their companies are forced to take a hard look, right, at what they're spending their money on because they don't get a lot of return. Obviously, this year, Disney World has managed to stay open, but Disneyland, unfortunately, has not. This one is a Disney World effect. But I like extra magic hours, but I don't think I like them as much as you.
That's because you have had your young person experiences.
Well, they didn't always have them when I was your age.
Yes, but more, you tend to, like to go to bed at earlier hours per se, whereas they can be tiring,
Hey, listen. First of all, I'm the one who went with cousins and nieces and nephews to the 3 a.m. ones when they used to have those. And I was with you.
When I was 3 years old.
Well, and I was with you on the family, I don't know when, that was a year or two ago, for the 1 a.m. ones. Those are fun.
Yes, but you just said you don't like them as much as me.
Here was my issue with extra magic hours.
Oh, I'd love to hear this.
So the morning ones, I think, are good. And what they've announced is they're doing away with extra magic hours, but what they're going to do is allow resort hotel guests
extra magic half hour,
but at any park you want. So instead of saying, oh, where's the extra magic hours today? Is it morning? Is it late night? And which park? All the parks, every day, resort guests will be allowed in a half an hour early. I like that.
I like that, but I also think they should do that. I think they should still do the odd extra magic hour at night.
Here's what I didn't like so much about the night ones.
What?
For the long night ones, the later night, like 1, 2, 3, it was good because past midnight, past 1 in the morning, especially that one when they used to go till 3 a.m., there really is nobody there then. So it really is extra magic. You can get on any ride with no line. But on the other ones, I think actually more people come out. So it was even more crowded. And I go, what's the point of this? It's actually worse than extra. It's not a perk. It's like an extra crowd. So that's what I didn't like about them. I will agree that the late night ones, if you stayed late enough or even came later, were better. But all in all, I didn't find extra magic hours to be as magical as you may think they are.
Well, I found them to be extremely magical because as people who only do fast passes because some people in our party do not like lines more than 15 minutes long.
Yes, that's me.
I found it magical to see the standby lines. Did you know they have games in those lines?
It is true.
I didn't even know that.
When, it's rare. We hadn't been for extra magic hours late for a while.
Forever.
Well, no. Well, you forever. For me, for a while. So then, when extra magic hours, there were no fast passes, and it's probably going to be the same with the half-hour morning one. But so you have to go through
There's like gem things
you
in
have
the
to go
mine
through
train.
So
there's like music in the haunted mansion. Who knew?
Yeah, we're going through all these lines, the full line, and we're going, wow, look at all this stuff we never see because we only do fast passes.
Who knew?
Or in the morning, we go right to a ride and you go in fast. There's no line, so you don't stop and look at any of this stuff.
Exactly.
So
I think it's fun to go at night, and you can see like the kiss goodnight, and it's less crowded, and you're staying up late, and it's fun.
Well, here's my theory.
It was the beginning of my career.
I still think, here's what I think is going to happen. So they're going to do the half an hour morning thing.
For free.
For free. Exactly. You know where I'm going.
Unfortunately.
It's pay for play, my friends. And I am okay with pay for play, as you know,
not.
if you've heard me before. So what I'm making some predictions on this episode, and you heard it here first. My prediction is they will still have late night things.
Why are you talking with a southern accent?
That's not a southern accent. That's just my... I don't know, my conductor's accent, my speaker. It's not really an accent. It's more of a voice.
Okay.
So I'm putting on my announcer's voice. Or what I predict is they will have paid late night, like the special events that run now, but sort of paid special after hours events. The way they have some of those
the old
early
Villains
morning.
After Dark, where you paid for extra magic hours.
Basically the original Villains After Dark, where there was nothing except a few villains. Yeah, it'll be just like that. And so I don't know what they'll call them, but that's what I predict. So I do predict you still will be able to go on certain times, special events, late night, but it's going to be a pay thing, which hopefully will cut down on the crowds because they can control the crowds more.
If you pay for it.
I don't mind paying for stuff like that. No one's forcing you to go. You don't have to go. So if you don't go, don't complain. There's nothing to complain about. But it's an option if you want to go, and it will hopefully be less crowded than, what I was talking about earlier, extra magic hours being overcrowded, especially in the early hours. Having said that, Villains After Hours was pretty crowded, and we were still waiting half an hour at least for lines. So it wasn't, I don't know. But extra magic hours, I'm not so broken up about. Are you?
I am.
You are, okay.
That's because I did them once.
Oh, was that the only late night?
Yes.
We've done tons of morning
Who
ones.
cares about morning ones? They're staying. They're not a lost cause.
But the morning ones are valuable, right? We get on half an hour is not as good as an hour, but we'll take
They're
what we
not
can
as
get.
fun.
It gives you enough time probably to do 2 rides.
Yeah, or one ride twice.
Or 1 ride. Well, still 2 rides.
Yeah, but if you do one ride
2
twice,
turns.
then you don't have
Yeah.
to go with the travel distance.
That's true. So if you're a resort guest, that is still a benefit. If you get there right when it opens, you'll be able to go boom and boom on one.
I think they should do like a
or
once
2.
a week, 3 a.m. extra magic hours at the Magic Kingdom.
We'll see.
Once
And
a week.
They'll probably assess.
Once a week. That's it. People, all I'm asking for, one time.
We'll see what happens. I do think something will come for late night in some way, shape, or form.
But they never did.
Maybe there will be more events.
Did they ever do late night at like Hollywood and stuff?
Yes, that's where the 3 a.m. one was.
They did?
Yeah.
And I didn't come?
Well, you were 3 years old.
You can take a 3-year-old. I had a stroller.
You and Mommy went to watch Illuminations, which was playing at that time. And I went with the gang till 3. And we shut her down till 3 a.m. And that one was fun because at the beginning of that, we were still in a rockin' line, I remember, for like 30 minutes or 45 minutes. And that's when it first started, which was whenever 10. But by 1, 2, 3 a.m., it's pretty dead. And that was magical because we were going on everything as a walk-on. So that's good.
Well, that sounds awfully magical, and I'm sorry that 3-year-old me missed out.
So we'll see what happens with extra magic hours or whatever they become.
R.I.P. extra magic hours. R.I.P.
Now, the third one is the most recent one. And for this one, we're hopping over to Disneyland where it's first put into place. It has not been announced for Disney World yet, but
This one I decided is more dire than extra magic hours.
I would not be surprised if this spreads to Disney World. And what did they do at Disneyland?
They got rid of annual passes.
They got rid of annual passes.
What are they thinking?
Well, that's the initial reaction. What are they thinking? An annual pass holder. So first of all, I know
what they're thinking. They want more money, but still.
Well, we're not annual pass holders at Disneyland, but we are at Walt Disney World. So I'm still taking this from the perspective of being an annual pass holder. But there are different kinds of annual pass holders. And here's the thing on this one, as far as I'm concerned.
We get it. You want money, Disney. We know.
Well, and this is, if you're Disney, there's no question that...
Yes, I know it's a bad deal for them. I get it.
It is, but here's why. If you're... Most annual pass holders, I would imagine, I don't have the stats, are locals, just like we would be at our local theme park. So if you're an annual pass holder, it's a great deal for you because you could go every day of the year, but you don't spend the money.
Wouldn't it be great to have an annual pass and just go every weekend?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people do. You know, YouTubers and...
We should move to Orlando.
And actually eBay pirates, who I'm glad will not have annual passes. And I'm going to state that right now. So if there's one shining spot, you're going to have to pay to go in now because I am not a fan of you if you're listening. eBay pirates, not a fan.
I don't know what that means.
There's my rant.
Sure.
You know the people who run eBay shops and go in and clear out every bit of merchandise on sale and then try to sell it for 10 times on eBay?
Oh, so Duffy outfits aren't $100? Because I was looking. And,
yeah, exactly. So those pirates, you're going to pay full fee. In fact, they should charge you double. There's my rant. But having said that, annual pass holders generally are the lowest value clients to Disney. Annual pass holders feel like they're the most valuable clients to Disney because we go every day and we tweet about it or, show you what cupcake is the latest.
You paid the least amount.
You don't spend money there, unfortunately, from a Disney perspective. So when non-annual pass holders, even us included or excluded, go on a vacation, it's costing us Disney's getting $8,000 to $10,000 from us every week as deluxe resort people. We're eating at 3 restaurants every day. We're staying in resort hotels. We
go to water parks.
So those are to Disney as a business. They want more of that. So annual pass holders who go every day don't eat at 3 restaurants, don't stay at hotels. You know what I mean? This is how Disney looks at it. So they're filling up the parks with guests who aren't high revenue. And I know you hate that if you're a local, and I would too. But on a business side, with my business hat on...
But you're not a local, so you don't care.
But we're annual pass holders. And the thing about the way annual passes are now, at least at Disney World, the reason we're annual pass holders when we have to fly 3 hours to get there is because the way it's structured now is if you spend more than a week in a Disney, a week's vacation...
Some of us spend weeks there for years.
Yeah, we go for 3 weeks a year. So if anything longer than a week, an annual pass is a better deal. That's how it works right now. So obviously we go 3 weeks a year. Of course we buy annual passes, even though we only go 21 days a year, not 200 or what a local would do. But in those 21 days, they're parts of vacation. So we're spending a ton of money there just because we have to, because we don't live there. So the reason they're looking at this now, I'm sure, is they started at Disneyland. First of all, it's closed. They have a lot of time to look at the economics and say these really are our least value clients from a revenue perspective.
Unfortunately, I would have to agree with them.
And so people have been outraged, understandably so. And for all these, I've seen comments, I'm never going again, and I'm staying off site and all this stuff. But Disney knows that's baloney.
You're going again.
And I know.
If you're an annual pass holder, you're not just never going to go again.
You're not. So don't say it. You're upset. People say things. Well, go ahead and say it. But you and I both know,
you're likely lying.
You're lying and you're going. You will not stay away from Disney, or very few will. And you know when this happened last time?
When?
And Disney knows this. I don't know if you remember this. It wasn't that long ago. They started charging for parking at hotels.
Oh, yeah.
Now, as Disney Vacation Club members, we still
That did not affect.
we still don't have to pay, but any other hotel guest now has to pay a daily parking rate, which
Is ridiculous.
no, it's not, because every single other hotel chain in the world charges you for parking.
They
and so
do?
Disney was one of the, or if not the very last ones to
They
do
charge? What? That's ridiculous.
Well, you know what?
As a child, you can tell I have no idea what goes on in the world.
Exactly, yeah. So here's a good eye-opening for you. But when that parking announcement came in, of course, social media was flooded with the same things. We're never staying on site again, and blah,
You do
blah,
realize
blah.
that if you stay off site, you're still gonna have to pay for parking
in most
though,
cases.
right?
So, but of course that didn't happen. Numbers didn't drop, and Disney knows it. Disney knows
Disney knows you're
gonna
lying.
go. And there's a great meme. Have you seen the meme on Twitter
I don't
Was-
have Twitter.
or on social media? It's been on Instagram as well. Someone screaming, "Oh, Disney, you did all!" And then there's a cat going, "You and I both know you're cat."
Disney is like cats.
Yeah, Disney is the evil cat.
Disney
saying,
is cats.
Listen, you and I forget what it is, but the
You
sentiment
and I
is
both know
you
you're
and I
coming
both
back.
know you're coming back no matter what we do, right? Pretty much. And that's the sad truth of it all, because at the end of the day, we do like it. There's these little things. So that's Disney's theory. I wouldn't be surprised if they get rid of annual passes at Walt Disney World as well in the current form. And I wouldn't be
I would
upset
be
about it.
annoyed, not shocked.
But I told you my theory before, and I'm going to state it now.
But we have a plan, Disney Imagineers who listen to our show.
Here's what I think, and you've heard it here first again. This is what I think. I think at Disneyland, and if they get rid of annual passes at Disney World, they will be replaced with
DVC points.
the same way that Disney Vacation Club uses points. And if you're not familiar with that, I believe an annual pass substitute would be, you don't just buy a blanket annual pass the way it is now.
No.
You buy an allocation of points. So
And this is the beauty of DVC.
Yeah. You know what? Now, people who go every day aren't going to like it, but Disney's going to get more revenue from you one way or another. People who go every day and don't spend money, right? That's what they're trying. That's what they look
Unfortunately
at.
for you, this is not the best
It
plan.
fills up the parks, but they're not churning revenue. And at the end of the day, they want to make money. So
Whereas people like us, we don't really mind that much.
I predict an annual pass system would work whereby you buy a certain amount of points, and you spend those points each time you go. That's how Disney Vacation Club works. And certain times of year, an entry will cost more points.
Yeah.
You know, like Christmas season.
And they should give DVC members point discounts.
Maybe things like that.
Smart idea.
Or maybe for the first year, people who had annual passes get a buy. So each year you will buy a certain tier of points, and then you spend those points down each time you go, and you run out at the end. You run out whenever you run out. And then you can maybe top it off with more points. But I think they're going to go to a system like that where they can control how much revenue they will know.
You do buy points at each park?
Well, all the details would come out, but maybe, you know how they have different tiers of annual passes? We have the top one, the platinum, which allows you into water park. They'll have maybe points that are valid at all, so that there's a price level, or maybe ones that are only valid on weekdays, whatever it is. But this way, they will be able to know exactly how much revenue they're getting per visit.
Oh, Disney.
So that's what I predict with annual passes. We don't like change, and some people, Disney people in particular, really don't like change. And you're probably going to be mad at me with this episode, and you may have been saying, I'm never going to listen to this podcast again. But don't take it out on me that hard. Because I do get... When I always try to step back.
Don't worry, I understand you. Even if you take, not
Thank you, Amelia. Oh,
listeners.
I thought you meant me.
Listeners, I understand you.
Sure, side with the listeners.
And even if you do like the Magical Express, I don't understand you, but I feel for you.
Yeah, on that one I do. So,
to be more empathetic.
So let's watch.
These people are getting their annual passes. Just.
It's not even open, but this is why Disneyland, is not yet open. So everybody's getting their money refunded. But I really think maybe they'll test it out at Disneyland, because they had the Max Pass there too, right? The paid Fast Passes,
Again,
essentially.
Smart idea.
I do think everything is going pay for play, and that's just the way it's going. The things they're putting in cost tons of money, and yes, they're billion-dollar companies and this and that and this and that. But they're not just because you're a high-earning company doesn't mean
you can afford to throw money away on people who come,
shareholders
come
and
every day
executives
and don't spend anything.
Yeah, they're always going to look at what are we losing money on.
And unfortunately, in this case, I do understand you. Unfortunately, in this case,
Me.
Yes. You.
Yes. Well, and listen, I'm just being an analyst, looking at what they're doing and maybe why they're doing it and what they may do in the future. So I could see a Disney Vacation Club type of point system for park visits.
Today I hope to never see.
So it won't truly be an annual pass. It will be annual points, just like DVC is. So there you have it. There is our look at guest perks that are going away or changing. Is there anything you would like to see go away?
Ooh, that's a hard one.
I know. That's why I asked you.
I'm actually not sure.
I wanted to ask you before you asked me.
I don't know. What would you like to go away?
Well, another one that they've talked about is the dining plan. There's been a long time rumor that the dining plan will go away.
That doesn't really affect us at all.
It's another one that...
It doesn't affect us.
And, I don't know. The dining plan is sort of points, but not really. So I could see everything going to points now that I'm seeing it. Because the dining plan is quirky and they tried to adjust it because signatures cost 2 and all. So why don't they just make dining points that you can spend on meals, snacks, whatever you want? I really like the point system, I have to say, as a DVC member. It gives you so much flexibility. So let's make annual passes points. Let's make dining plan points.
You know what I want to see go away?
What?
The Skyliner.
Yeah, I don't think that's
Ta-ta, Skyliner.
I'm with you on that. I just don't like it for many, many reasons.
You could do a whole episode on that, but...
I could. I know a lot of people love it, but I just think back to the Skyway and why that disappeared and all that. We've talked about that before, but anyway, try not to be upset, Disney people.
Personally, I like Disney exactly how it is.
It does help to vent on Twitter, I know, and say you're never going again, but you and I both know you'll be
likely
back.
Are.
I'll be back. We'll all be back. We may be a little bit mad. It's like a family squabble, but you are going to come back. And that's just
we know you love it.
We know you love it at the end of the day, but it is hard. I get it. I'm not trying to come down on anyone, but I do understand why it's happening. And I actually think a points thing would be better. Not for eBay pirates, it won't, but they're going to have to pay their way if they want to do this pillaging of the landscape for profit on it. So there. Anyway, thank you everyone for listening. A little bit of a different episode, but we found, we thought this is topical and there's a lot of chatter about it. So we wanted to just do an episode talking about these things and what may come, because I don't think any of them are going away with no replacement is the bottom line. There will be something filling the space. The train is doing it for Magical Express, and we'll see what happens with these other two. So let us know what you think.
See what the future holds.
Let us know what you think about the point system idea. Would you be down for that? I know and don't just think of it as, no, I want the annual pass. Assume it's gone. Would you rather have nothing or would you rather have a point system?
I suppose I would rather have a point system.
Because even paying, even though you pay less per day if you buy a 7-day pass, that does not replace the annual pass as it is now. So that's my prediction. We'll see if I'm right down the road. I do love saying who was right, so hopefully I'll get to say it in this case. So let us know what you think, and thank you for listening, everyone. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and have a magical day.
Bye-bye.